Hello, how are you doing today? I'm in a particularly good mood today just for the fact that Bath & Body Works has released a brand new pumpkin fragrance. As far as body care goes, I think White Pumpkin and Chai was the most recent release of a pumpkin fragrance. You'll have to let me know if I'm forgetting one, but I think that was the newest brand new fragrance that they've made. And since then, they've just been doing repackages and repeats, which I love all of the pumpkins, but it is super exciting and fun to have a brand new one. So today I'm going to be smelling and reviewing that fragrance so that you can kind of have an idea of what it smells like, as well as comparing it to an older pumpkin fragrance by Bath & Body Works. So for this review and comparison, I'm going to be comparing body lotion to body lotion, and the brand new fragrance, here it is. It's called Pumpkin Swirl Cake, and I think that that is such a cute name. It's really cute packaging. I'll put the pictures of the rest of the collection over here so you can see what it looks like. But let's start off with the fragrance notes names. We've got pumpkin spice, caramel toffee, and creamy vanilla as the fragrance notes. So super exciting to have something, not only a new pumpkin, but we also have some caramely toffee notes going on, which we normally don't have. Also in this pre-fall bakery collection, we have two other fragrances. We have strawberry pound cake, and then there is also another brand new fragrance called blueberry bundt cake, which I also am going to be doing a review. So once I've posted that one, I'll make sure to include a link up above so you can watch it once it's done. I've chosen Pumpkin Cupcake to do my comparing and contrasting with this new Pumpkin Swirl Cake, just because at least as far as the fragrance name goes, these two scents sound like they're going to be pretty similar. So Pumpkin Cupcake, this is the body lotion from 2021, and this one has notes of whipped buttercream, pumpkin spice, and vanilla cake batter. So already right off the bat, we're seeing some similarities. Pumpkin spice is a part of both of these fragrances, and they both have a vanilla component. We've got vanilla cake batter, while we have creamy vanilla. I've noticed as far as Bath & Body Works fragrances go, whenever they include something like a cake batter, it tends to be more of a heavier, more gourmand bakery fragrance, while if they just say whipped vanilla or iced vanilla or some other kind of vanilla, it tends to be more whipped and light. So we'll see how that plays out when we smell these back to back. All right, it's time to try a little on my skin. So I'm gonna put the new fragrance, Pumpkin Swirl Cake, on my left arm. As I'm rubbing this in, you'll have to let me know down in the comments below, have you gotten a chance to buy any of the new fall fragrances? And are you ready for fall scents? This is nice. I like it. So first impressions as I'm smelling it right on my skin is that it's a little bit of a lighter fragrance than I thought it was going to be. Oftentimes gourmands and pumpkin fragrances tend to be more heavy and a thicker of a fragrance, something more overpowering and robust. But I find that this one is not that way at all. In fact, this one is quite light, and I feel like it's not going to last very long. So that's good if you don't want something that's too overpowering of a sickly sweet scent. Maybe not so good if you're someone who wants it to last all day long like I do. I don't yet have the Fine Fragrance Mist or the Shower Gel of Pumpkin Swirl Cake, but I can tell that this is going to be a fragrance that if you use all of the components of the trio, that layering those fragrance forms is really going to make the scent last longer. So the main thing that I'm getting actually is the toffee note. So toffee and caramel can be translated as a pretty similar thing, if not the same. I think of toffee as being more of a darker brown, a richer and stickier kind of thing. But for caramel, I think of it as being a little bit more buttery and light and whipped and a little bit more golden, like a honeyed kind of situation. So that's at least in my mind how I differentiate toffee versus caramel. And when I smell this, I'm thinking it's more of a caramel kind of route as opposed to a toffee kind of route, at least on my skin. And it could be because I'm smelling that creamy vanilla playing in there. I feel like if you were to mix vanilla and caramel, it definitely takes it more of a lighter, fluffier route as opposed to a richer, stickier, toffee-ish route. I'm not really getting any pumpkin spice notes, and I feel like if I were to spray as well as lotion, I feel like the pumpkin spice would come out more if I were to layer. But as far as when you're just applying the lotion straight on, I'm not really sensing a whole lot of pumpkin spice. I'm not noticing any pumpkin and not the spices either, because pumpkin spice technically is like cinnamon, clove, nutmeg combined you think of when you're baking. That's the pumpkin spice you're adding. So no pumpkin and not really any spices either. It's more like I don't know, if I were to rename this, I would almost call it like a caramel milk tea, if anything. So now I'm going to put a little bit of the lotion of Pumpkin Cupcake on my left arm, and we'll do some comparing and contrasting. So, okay, on the plus side, I think if you were wondering if the Pumpkin Swirl Cake was the same fragrance and just repackaged from Pumpkin Cupcake, I'm happy to report that they are not the same fragrance, which I guess that's happy news for me because I always like it when we get a brand new fragrance because I'm all about variety and trying new things. Maybe that's not happy news if you were hoping it was a Pumpkin Cupcake repackaged. So as I'm smelling them back to back, I am noticing some slight similarities, but they're not as similar as I thought they were going to be based on the names. With the Pumpkin Cupcake, I mentioned mentioned this with cake batter notes, but it has kind of this interesting richness that you don't find if it's just a straight vanilla scent. And there's almost like, it kind of reminds me of something. I'm thinking like a artificial vanilla chapstick kind of flavor, or fragrance in this case. You know, like when you get a grocery store cake and they kind of put too much frosting on it, and it's kind of like food coloring meets overly waxy frosting. Like, you still like it because it's just sweet and sugary and nostalgic, but it's kind of reminding me of that a little bit. So Pumpkin Cupcake, I do smell more of the spices, like a nutmeg kind of thing going on, while in the Pumpkin Swirl Cake, it's all caramel. Like, I'm not really getting cinnamon or nutmeg or anything like that. So I'm thinking of the two, Pumpkin Cupcake might actually be a little bit more autumnal than the Pumpkin Swirl Cake, but at the same time, I don't know. I think that Pumpkin Swirl Cake is good if you don't like pumpkin scents, but you do want something sweet and gourmand. I feel like it's caramely enough and not pumpkin-y enough that you can kind of play it off as something a little bit different than a Team Pumpkin kind of fragrance. As far as which fragrance I like better, that's a tough one because I do like both. I think that body chemistry tells me that Pumpkin Cupcake smells better on my skin. So I think for my own personal preference, I think Pumpkin Cupcake smells better on me. So I'll have to choose Pumpkin Cupcake. But smelling them straight in the bottle actually is quite a different experience. So when I smell Pumpkin Cupcake in the bottle, it doesn't really do anything for me. It just kind of smells like a lightly spiced, unscented body lotion a little bit. But the Pumpkin Swirl Cake smells really good in the bottle. I feel like, actually, the Pumpkin Swirl Cake smells even better in the bottle than it does on my skin, which, once again, I think if I were to get the spray and shower gel and use all three, it would help layer on that fragrance so that it doesn't just smell kind of like a weak situation. So, yeah, I think that Pumpkin Cupcake smells better on me at the moment, but Pumpkin Swirl Cake is a little bit more my vibe, if that makes sense. You'll have to let me know down in the comments below, have you gotten a chance to try the new Pumpkin Swirl Cake yet? I hope this review and comparison was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!